civilization, we need a container for it that doesn't make a bunch of self-destructive people. Because it was recognized fairly early on that the attack dog thing was appropriate in the Middle Ages with a bunch of, you know, when you see it happen in the modern era, you see it with Yukio Mishima, the famous author who stages a valiant and impossible coup and winds up killing himself back in the 60s. It looks shocking and bizarre. And you go, wow, that's anachronistic and kind of perverted, kind of weird. Now, his actions would have made sense 300 years earlier, 200 years earlier, you know. But in 1960, 60 whatever it was, it made no sense at all. And that's the transition. Budo had to evolve into something that was life-affirming, or at least neutral. As long as it was going to be a negative form, or a form that was going to promote some kind of negative energy, it was always going to be a problem. The Japanese society couldn't contain it right, so it had to transform, had to change. So they used the methods and techniques that they had in hand. They used Zen and they used other ways to civilize it down, sort of. Turn it into something positive. And that is reflected in the personalities, too, because you have, in Aikido, you've got Takeda, you've got Sakapo Takeda, the Daito-ryu man, who brings all this into the 20th century, and he is coming out of a paranoid, if you read his history, there's a great new book by Ellis Amber called Hidden in Plain Sight. And in Hidden in Plain Sight, he does a little character analysis, because he's a psychology guy, and he does a little character analysis on what he can pull out in profiling just from reading historical stuff on Takeda. And the guy comes out of a very abused childhood, and he comes out of this, that, and the other, and he winds up paranoid. And he winds up sort of money-hungry, paranoid, traveling from person to person. All relationships are very temporary and very superficial, and always constantly just grabbing after more and scared of losing what he's got, and functioning out of a programmatic worldview or an internal worldview where he is trying to become this ultra Superman powerful guy to compensate for this great loss and great fear. That's what he was driving from. His world was full of problems to be solved. His world was full of enemies to be conquered or to be aware of and scared of. Couldn't sleep well at night. And he created this work of martial arts genius, Daito-ryu Jiu-Jitsu, which he says he inherited, but really is a little more of a fabrication probably. And he built this thing to empower himself, and he did a great job of it. I mean, it's powerful techniques, powerful principles, embodied in Aikido for those purposes. His main student, Ueshiba, picks up, and he's in a different world place. He stays with Takeda for a long time, but he turns the psychology 180 degrees. He goes in a completely different direction. By the time 1940 comes along, he's gone away from the Aiki as the ultimate empowering tool to be a superhero and wipe out the world and control everybody, and he turns it into a religious artifact. He turns it into a method of making the whole world one family, is what he described it as. True Budo is love, is how he described it. And I think he was telling some secrets on himself, because ever since then, all the generations that have come after him, including Mochizuki and Tomiki and Tohei and Shioda and the rest of them, and all the modern great masters of Aikido, they've all been sort of comparing themselves to Ueshiba, or their students do, and there's this like, wow, he could do something we can't do. Now they all do the same techniques. They all do the same throws, they all do the same locks, they all do the same everything, but what is different is they don't do the same psychology. And that's kind of the chaos I want to talk about a little bit. Because there's a thing in modern research about applied kinesiology. And it's very interesting. If your body is coming out of a given psychology or emotional tenor, and you're projecting that into the engagement that you're tied in with, it has its own effect. So I guess the easiest way is, well, I saw one demonstration of it. So I'm going to push on Nathan here. And you just, I'm just going to push on you. Yeah, good, good. Now brace yourself a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Good. Good, yeah. Put one foot back. Yeah, good, good, good. Now, Nate, I want you to, just say something really damn negative. You can say it about me or about being here this morning, or just say some, just vent a little, just complain. Just, let me have it. Tell me something about, you can lie. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Yeah, just, yeah.
Okay.
It's really cold in here.
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, it's something you don't like.
God damn it. Wake up.
Good. Okay. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's feedback. Now I want you to think just something neutral. So something with no emotional content, just say it. You got to verbalize it because you want your whole body to speak, like the wall is white, and something that doesn't have any emotional content for you. It's neutral.
It's rather cloudy outside.
Okay, good. Stronger. Same input, stronger response out of his body. Now say something very positive, like, some positive emotional quality.
I'm damn glad to be here,
Yeah. And I want you to do this with each other. It's very interesting. And feel it in yourself. Do it with each other. Take 3 different emotional tenors. Plus, minus, and neutral. 0, plus, and minus is one way to put it. Or happy, sad, or truthful, lie, and neutral. And all 3. Generally, most martial art things wind up in neutral most of the time. But you want to feel the effects, and the effects are you can do it in lots of different ways. You can push against the body, you can push against an arm, you can feel a resistance. You want a feeling of internal resistance. And try to be as reasonable with your pushing and pulling as you can. And do it with each other. Cool? So just carry up a little bit. Try that for a second. Yeah, try it.